Ha 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 ha. Today is the day to make a mess on Manual do Mundo. I'm going to test it, with no guarantee at all that this thing will work.
An idea to make a hand that holds a bicycle.
I've seen several projects where people manage to make a mold of the hand and then make the hand out of plaster. But we're going to try to go a little further and make it out of concrete. I'm not sure if that'll work, since plaster isn't strong enough. You couldn't make a hanger from it because it would break immediately. I'm not sure about concrete since I've never seen anything this small, thumb-sized, made from it. But let's try it. First, I need to make a mold of my hand. First, I'm going to prepare some containers, and to make a cut at the exact height at all times, I'll attach a pen to something here and spin it around the container. Look how nice that is. Then you just use a utility knife.
But Ibere, you made the mark and this ugly thing showed up here. Then you cut it all wrong.
Some people just don't have patience, right? The utility knife was just to take off the cap. Then you keep going with the scissors, and then it turns out right. Yeah, keep going. What I'm going to use to make the mold is something called sodium alginate, which is what dentists use to make denture molds.
It's a really cool powder that, when you mix it with water, it hardens, but not too much.
It gets kind of rubbery.
When you remove your hand, a hole remains that you can fill with cement.
In this case, the dentist does this in the person's mouth, just like we did to make the perfect egg ball.
And what I want to test here is how much it expands when you add water, what volume it takes up. So we don't waste it because this stuff is expensive. I even think there's a cheaper kind that's not for dentists, right?
Because it would be a simpler type, one you don't have to put in your mouth. You make a small dough, then press it with your finger. Should I have oiled my finger first?
It should harden in 3 minutes. Here, it's already starting, forming rubber that comes off your finger. My hand even got stuck.
That's cool. It's really cool. Look at that. That's where the cement goes afterwards. Once the concrete hardens, you can easily break the alginate and remove the finished concrete. I have to get ready to do everything really fast. I even put a little stool here so I can be higher up and in a more comfortable position for my hand. I'll put some oil on my hand, just in case. Wow, that's a lot of powder. Will this mix well? Let's go, let's go, let's go. Oil on my hand and a mess, all over the place. That's why I put the protection on the table. Do it like this. It's enough to grab a bicycle frame, and let's go. Now I have to stay in this position for 3 minutes, and it's still soft, so I don't have any internal support here. It's tiring, guys. And I don't know if my hand is like this, or like that, or like this even. It's hard to tell. I think it hardened. I don't know if it's enough. It's not liquid anymore.
I'm worried about breaking it. Shouldn't we wait a bit longer? It's really weird. You feel your hand coming loose and it has to be flexible so your hand can come out through the hole at the wrist, right? I think my hand was too closed. Let's try the left hand. It felt uncomfortable, so I'll adjust my position.
I think I used too much alginate. I didn't need all that. It got really hard here. I'll try to use a little less. It's a risky move because it could go wrong, but there are some bags there. Let's go. It's a race against time.
It turns pink and once hardened, changes color, which indicates that it's ready to work with. You can already put the concrete or something inside.
Let's go. Oil on the hand. Now, I'm going to try to make a bigger opening here. Let's see. Not that it's comfortable. You end up in a position where you can't move.
It's gelatinous. I'm removing my hand now, or it might harden and trap it.
Because the hand has to go through the wrist, and the wrist is smaller than the hand. This one turned out better.
Look, I put half the recipe in here, and it turned out good. So I didn't need to use so much alginate the first time.
We can make a few more things. Let's go big. It's been 3 minutes. This one, I think it worked. This last one is a gesture I can't show in the video right now. Can anyone guess what it is, Danny? I'm adding styrofoam to increase the volume and lift it a bit to reach part of my arm. It's already hardened.
I hope I didn't mess it up when I took my hand out. This styrofoam is going to stay here now.
Inside the concrete, I'm going to put 2 pieces of threaded rod. Besides adding structure, I'll use it to attach this hand later. Besides cutting the rods, I finished the ends here, so the nut goes on more easily. The secret is this nut whose name I forget, that removes the burr when you cut the thread so the nut goes on smoothly. After that, I'll have to measure how much each rod goes into the place where I'll put the concrete and adjust the height properly. Here in the concrete, I'm going to try an additive that we used in the perfect concrete ball. When we filmed at Mawa, they used polypropylene fibers, the same plastic this rope is made of. I'm going to cut pieces of rope, separate the fibers, and mix them into the concrete later. This makes it really strong. When concrete is about to crack, the fibers hold it together and prevent cracking.
The hard part here is separating the fibers. They clump together in little bunches.
That's not good because it'll show in the final product. I don't want that. The fiber must be very loose. I don't know how to do this, but I'll try using a little water. Jansen is asking here if dog hair works. Look, honestly, I think it works, you know? I should have just gone to a pet shop and asked for leftover husky fur or something.
I think it would be better than having to separate the little fibers from this rope here.
Now, the recipe is as follows. It's 2 parts sand for each part of cement. That's the mix, right?
That's the recipe used to make cement pots, which is something similar to what we're doing now.
A little bit of glue, like we learned, which helps give strength when we made those concrete weights.
I now know I have to break up the fiber and mix it until it disappears completely.
Mix a little before adding the water. I start to have doubts if these fibers will mix properly into the mixture, but I think they will.
What happens is that first I want to mix a lot with little water to make it really uniform, and then add a little more water.
Look at the difference. Also, if you add too much water, the concrete gets weak. I'm going to try to use it as dry as possible, as long as it can get into the hole, right where my fingers are.
The sander is supposed to shake and bring bubbles up, but I'm not sure it's working. Less is coming out than I expected. It's done.
Now, it's just a matter of waiting a few days. It's only been 24 hours since we put it here, but the concrete has already hardened. I want to remove it because we need to pour water on it. Water is needed in the chemical reaction. Without hydrating concrete, it can crack. So this is good news. Let's remove this from the mold. I felt bad cutting the containers, but I don't see another solution. It tore the fingers off. Look, maybe it wasn't time to open it yet? Let's see if at least the fingers kept a good shape, right? Look at that. Look at this. What a shame it didn't work out. I don't think I'll open the others. I'll just leave this here to heal better, right? This happens when you rush and do things too soon. I remember when we made bricks for the little house.
We had to remove them from the mold early in the morning, but they were crumbly and tended to fall apart.
As the days went by, they kept getting harder and harder.
The truth is that concrete takes a long time to cure. It's a chemical reaction that happens in it, and it's extremely slow. In construction, you usually wait 30 days before using anything made with concrete.
Curing can take up to a year, so ideally you should wait, but I didn't want to leave it without water. Now, I'm going to wait anyway. This one, let's see if we can recover it. Now, it's been a week.
I had to dress up like a big man here, because last time it ruined my shirt, and it was a lot of work to wash it. It looks like a giant pudding.
The thumb broke, but look how cool. The hand came out perfect. Look, the fingerprint marks, everything. I wonder if I use this thumb on a phone, will it unlock? It opened the hand just like the other one. I'm suspicious that I put too much fiber in here. The fiber didn't let the concrete spread properly, and things didn't go very well. Because it's not possible that such a large contact area broke or didn't cure. Something went wrong. The finger on one hand is thicker than the finger on the other. This probably happened because on this hand where the finger is thinner, the alginate gave way. It kind of squeezed the space where the cement was supposed to go. But hold on, this isn't the end yet. I haven't given up on these hands. I want to glue everything together and make these cement ones work. I'm also interested in using resin instead of cement, since I think it will turn out better. The first part is straightforward. We're going to have to make the mold all over again. It's that thing where you mix the alginate with water and wait a little bit. Anyway, have you seen this happen before? This time, I'm trying to open the hand a bit more, because I noticed that the cement molds had the hand too closed. Maybe the bicycle handlebar won't fit. Today's resin is special. We've never used polyester before. It's different from the epoxy we used on the submarine.
The advantage of this one is that it's a bit cheaper, it hardens faster, but it has a really strong smell.
That's annoying. I bought a crystal one here, similar to glass. Let's see the final result. I'm working to avoid bubbles by adding just a bit at a time here, 200 milliliters each round. It has a main liquid, and you add the catalyst, which is what will make it harden. It's a chemical reaction, like alginate or cement. An hour after pouring the resin, we saw it wasn't hardening.
And we found out that we used the silicone catalyst instead of the resin one. Yeah, I already forgot the name, polyester resin. We added the correct catalyst to the resin with the wrong one, and it hardened successfully.
Now, we need to remove the liquid resin from the mold, mix in the catalyst, and return it. We did it wrong with the cement. We did it wrong with the resin. The important thing is that you're learning along with us, right? Let's hope we get lucky this time. The state of this thing still isn't very nice. See? It dried a lot. There's a bit of water.
But anyway, I hope there's a hand hidden in here. It looks like a hand from about 500 years ago, all chipped, but we have the hand.
Let's see the other one. How does it look? Come on, stay here.
It's also a hand with kind of worn out skin, kind of old, but it's completely intact. What a beautiful thing.
And one more hand here, which is made of concrete, which was the last one we made and I haven't opened it yet. Now, there's already been enough time for this concrete to have hardened. There shouldn't be a problem. It won't break like the others. And I suspect that the finish turned out better. This here is a souvenir for us to show. Look, to remind you all of.
At least with this one, I think we succeeded. Now, what am I going to do?
I want to work on these other hands and get them ready for the hook. I haven't given up on the cement ones, okay?
I'll try fixing the broken ones with super glue and think I can do it.
I managed to fix this hand, but it stayed closed. The bike handlebar can't go through here, see? The thumb ended up too close to the index finger. I guess it works for hanging a bag or something like that, but not for a bicycle.
With these concrete hands, a serious problem happened, which is called lack of patience.
This was the first hand we took out of the mold. I think it was the next day. I don't really remember. It's all messed up. It broke completely. My restoration was terrible. The two in the middle that we opened 2 days later turned out better. You can notice, for example, that the texture of the hand is already much better. You can even see the fingerprint, for example. But even so, they still broke. And the thumbs up hand, it's practically perfect. It didn't break, it's all intact. Those fibers that I put inside, they hardly show on the outside. Anyway, if we had been as patient with the other hands, they would all look as nice as this one. This is Melissa's bicycle. I should have thought beforehand about where I was going to rest the hand, but I thought it was just about making an open hand. Then we decide how to rest it, and looking at the bike like this, I had an idea. I could put my hand here on the saddle and make the bike be supported only by the saddle. I'm not sure my hand can handle it. My thumb might slip and the seat's weight landed on my finger. The idea is for the bike's weight to rest here, not on my finger, right?
There's also the issue that it won't fit here like this, and it won't work either. This way, the pedal won't let it. Here, it's gonna put weight on my finger again. You do things on impulse, that's what happens, right? It's good that you guys are seeing that things really go wrong here.
But Beret, show something that went wrong in the video. Everything is going wrong. This bike is one we made, that motor with the drill, and part of it later became a gravitational battery. Let's see if it fits here. Wow. This hand will have to be installed very well to support the weight of the bike, which isn't small. Honestly, I don't think it's good for the bike.
The bike is so heavy, it barely fits on the frame. This is the only way I can fit it.
The hands are at a weird angle, which would make it really hard to fix the hand in the right place. And there's another problem. Because of the handlebars, the bike sits away from the wall, so your hand would also be too far from it. And that would create a kind of lever that no structure could handle. Or maybe there is a structure that could handle it, but it would have to be made of steel or something like that. Let's try something easier, right? How about this? Should we do it with a scooter instead? The question now is, how am I going to attach these hands to the wall? I'll look for a piece of wood here.
It needs to be thick because there has to be a gap between the hand and the wall.
Next, I'll sand the base of the hand until it's very flat, then drill it exactly 90 degrees. It's not easy because this hand has a completely irregular shape.
After that, the idea is to take a little bit of epoxy glue, put it on a screw, and attach it inside the hole that was made in the hand. It didn't come out exact, but almost. Cut off what's left here.
So let's cut off the tip of the screw and then wash this hand. After all, one hand washes the other. And now, a tough decision I was unsure about is whether we should paint it or not. But yes, I'm going to paint it. This blue looks weird, and the hand doesn't look good now. Maybe a coat of paint will improve its vibe. Finally, screw it into the wood here. We have a problem. The screw didn't hold properly inside the hand. Our resin is kind of crumbly. It didn't turn out well. So, when I fasten the screw inside with glue, the glue pulls out the resin and breaks the resin from the inside. Since the screw isn't working, I'll try epoxy glue. Even directly into the wood, the screw will serve more as a kind of guide here. Maybe this handle won't turn and will stay firmly in place. With both together, the handle will be more secure. And the last thing to do is to drill a wall and install the thing. Shall we inaugurate our skate hanger with human hands? At first we thought it would look nice, but during and after making it, we realized it actually looked ugly. After installation, it looked nice. I think it was worth it. I didn't finish, did I? The first thing I'm going to try here is sanding the bottom to see if this hand can stay horizontal, can stay still. And I think we had some success, huh? Let's do some finishing touches around here. Next, I want to remove these blue hairs. They look ugly. The cool thing is that they shouldn't show, so let's torch this here, and they'll disappear completely. And the last step is to give it a finishing touch. It smells like concrete. It leaves a bit of dust on your hand. So let's apply white glue with plenty of water, so it will become almost unnoticeable. It shines very little, but at the same time, it binds, it sticks that dust around, and at the same time, protects your hand. This way, it won't get dirty when everyone touches it, since I know they will.
Now then, is it worth it or not?
Look, it's not every day that we mess up the concrete mold, you know? Once we used incandescent bulbs to make a clothes hanger. It came out really cool.
I used a different formula and can't recall how since I didn't watch the video before recording. Check it out, you'll like it, okay?